So who is ready and excited to actually get started with crochet? I am excited. Grab your coffee, because you're gonna need it. So today, we are going to get started and actually start learning stitches. We're gonna get started on, I need to stop saying we're gonna get started. So today, finally, I'm going to show you how to do a single crochet stitch. This is the most used stitch across crochet completely when it comes to animals, wearables, blankets, like all crochet uses the single crochet stitch. So we're gonna show it to you. You will need a foundation row. I chose to go with 15 stitches for my starting row. And again, I did use the single crochet foundation stitch. You can go back to the previous videos and learn how I did this if you don't already know. And we're gonna get started. You are going to need your handy dandy wonderful crochet hook. I am still using my 6mm crochet hook, and of course yarn. Still sticking with the Lion brand Mandala. And I keep using this one because it's right here and convenient too. This is a color changing yarn. The yarn will change colors on its own. So for starters, if you don't know how to do color changes or anything like that, this is a great base to start with. And in the future, I'll show you how to do actual color changes so you can use solid colors. But for now, we're gonna stick with the Mandala. And on top of that, you are going to need 2 handy dandy stitch markers. I'm still sticking with the plastic ones. Use whatever you need. You don't necessarily, if you don't have these, you can use bobbing pins, you can use earrings, like you can use anything that will stay in place so you know what you're doing. What I want you to do is once you have your foundation row, I want you to place 1 stitch marker into the first and last stitches on your row. This way, again, if you are just starting out, you will know where your row starts and where your row ends, so you know exactly where to place your stitches to keep a nice clean edge. But we're just gonna jump right in. So I've got my foundation row of 15 here. So I'm gonna insert my hook back in. And again, at the end of your row, you are going to chain 1, and this creates your turning chain. So it just gives me the ability to just turn my work without anything getting all crazy. And again, this loop on your hook and the chain does not count as a stitch. It's just a way to turn your work. So to do your first single crochet stitch, I want you to insert your hook into that first stitch that we marked with our stitch marker. You're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. So now you have 2 loops on your hook, and you're going to yarn over again and pull through both loops on your hook. And there you have created your very first single crochet stitch. So now again, to keep your edges nice and clean until you feel more confident and comfortable, go ahead and move that stitch marker into the new stitch that you just created. And to continue across your row, you're going to insert your hook into the next stitch, and again, make sure you're catching those 2, that V on your hook. So you want to make sure you're catching both of those loops. You're going to yarn over, pull up a new loop, yarn over, and pull through both of the loops you had on your hook. And that is 2. And that's all there is to it when it comes to the single crochet. It's a really easy, simple, basic, pretty quick stitch. And like I said, it's used pretty much all across the board. And don't mind my speed. You know, I've had lots of practice. So, but again, that is insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. So you have 2 on your hook, yarn over, pull through both loops. So go ahead and continue across until you reach the end, and I will meet you there. If I can keep my hook on. There we go. Slow down, Crystal. You don't need to move so fast. All right, so now I've made it to my last stitch. So I'm going to, again, insert my hook into that last stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through both of those loops. And then again, just to make sure your edges stay nice and clean until you learn, remove your stitch marker and then replace it in that last stitch that you made. So you have, you know where you start and where you end. And that's all there is really. All you need to do is to continue on. You're just gonna chain one at the end of your row, turn your work so that you are working back across the row that you just made. So you're always going to start in that first stitch that you have marked with your stitch marker. Move that stitch marker after you finish your stitch. And then continue on your way. Like I said, this is the most generalized crochet stitch there is. It's used in everything. So what I want you to do is go ahead, keep practicing, go back and forth, make a couple of rows. I'm gonna go ahead and make a couple more rows real quick so I can show you how to count how many rows you have. I know in the beginning that was a very difficult thing for me to learn and understand. I didn't know exactly what I was looking for to know how to count my rows. So I'm gonna make a couple more rows real quick. You go ahead and practice, and I will meet you back in just a second so I can show you how to count your single crochet rows. Okay, so I have now finished a couple of rows. I replaced my stitch marker. So now I'm just gonna show you real quick how to count your finished single crochet rows. So from here, you can see like the little ridges and whatnot. That is what you're looking for when you're counting your stitches, or when you're counting your rows, sorry. So being that I started with the single crochet foundation row, this very starting foundation does count as a completed row. So on my piece right here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 finished rows. And what you are looking for is these nice little ridges are your completed rows. Excuse me, I have like saliva. I can breathe. So I have my, let me see. I have my starting foundation row here. My second row is following this line here. And then my third row, fourth row, and then my final fifth row here. So that's all there really is to it. It does take a little bit of practice to get used to what you're looking for, but it's not too hard once you have that understanding. So go ahead, practice, and keep it up if you want to. So I started with a base of 15 stitches, which is kind of wide. So if you want to, I would go ahead and just make a nice long piece that could fit around your head, because with that nice 15 stitch base, what you could do for your very first finished crochet project is you can go ahead, finish practice or keep practicing your single crochet stitches, and once you've made a long enough panel, what you can do is you can then sew the edges together, and then you'll have a basic ear warmer or ear cover. Because I don't know about you, it is cold where I am, and you gotta protect your ears. So go ahead, practice your single crochet stitch. I will catch you in the next video where, of course, I'm gonna teach you again another pretty simple, pretty quick, very well-known stitch. So for now, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, just wanna say hi, or anything like that, drop it in the comments. If you are having fun or want to keep learning from me and just hang out, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you're not missing anything new. And I will catch you on the flip side. If you are curious about the hook or the yarn or anything I'm using, you can find links in the description. But beyond that, I'm gonna go, you go practice, and I will catch you later. Oh, I forgot the YouTube thing. or we'll figure it out later.